When you have to work all day long for a loaf of bread. Come on, Rosie, honey, you got to go in there. You know that verse where it says a quart of wheat for a day's wages and 2 quarts of barley for a day's wages? That is speaking about extreme famine. You will have to work all day long just to have a quart of wheat. And if you had to grind that wheat, it would be less than a quart when you got through grinding it. If you could grind it with a pestle, that's a warning. It really is. When they put that in there, it's a prophecy, a quart of wheat for a day's wages. This is 1 quart. And it takes approximately a quart to make a good sized loaf of bread. And what if that's all you had to eat? You had to work all day long for 1 loaf of bread to feed your family, and that's all you had is bread and water. Are you saying that's going to happen like that, Gina? Well, they're prophesying a quart of wheat for a day's wages and 2 quarts of barley for a day's wages. And if you don't know how to make your own bread, what if you ain't even got a way to make your bread and bake your bread? It's not too, it doesn't sound like too plentiful of a time. It does not. It sounds like a time of famine, extreme famine in the land. Then if you think about it, it's like 7 years of plenty and 7 years of want. That's during the time of Joseph. And there was a famine in the land of Egypt. And then at least they had the wheat. They had the wheat. They stored their wheat. And the people had to give up everything. They did. They sold their land. They all came just so they could have food to eat. But they had to work all day long for the food. Rosie, honey, listen to me, honey. Come on. You look like a little baby right here. Won't you hop down, Rosie? See, little Rosie wants to be a little baby. Come on, Rosie, honey, you're too cuddly. A quart of wheat for a day's wages. That's, would you be surprised if there was a famine? The farmland and the crops and stuff, they're not what they used to be. The weather, the extreme weather events that are occurring, we got extreme weather events that are occurring, that have occurred, that has destroyed crops. The land has like become parched. It's like during the Great Dust Bowl. I don't remember exactly when the Great Dust Bowl was, but it ruined entire fields. It did. It was the dust. It's like the wind and stuff would come through, and it would literally like blow away the top layer or something. They couldn't even grow their crops. They couldn't. That was a sad time. Then we got the Great Depression. The Great Depression. We've been told that there's going to be a greater depression. A greater depression, but I really do feel this greater depression will be worldwide. It will be on a worldwide scale. The Greater Depression. Now let's think about that. In order to bring up your new world, you're going to have to literally bring this world down. You're going to have to bring this world down to its knees. The people down on their knees. This, spiritually speaking, bring the world to its knees. And it's going to take a lot of calamity to do that. A lot of different types of calamity. And nobody wants that. Do I want that? I don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that. Nobody wants that except maybe the few. The few want that. But the few Maybe they may have been taken over by a life form, a certain type of a life form. You could say there's people on this earth that have been overtaken by demonic spirits. You could refer to those demonic spirits as like alien-likes, but they don't have humanity's best interests at heart. They do not. Rosie, honey, come on, honey. So a quart of wheat for a day's wages, that means famine. That means hunger and working all day long. If you could even find work, what on earth would you do at that period of time if it got really bad? I cannot even picture what on earth a human being would be able to do all day long just for a loaf of bread. If you think about it, because robots taking over everything, even the big farm equipment. The farm equipment they got now, it can do it all. It can do it all. It can plow, it can plant, it can water, it can fertilize, it can pick, it can sort, it can take it to the factories. It can do all the processing. It can do all the shipment. It can do it all. It can do it all. So what would a human do with that quart of wheat for a day's wages? I really can't think of anything that a human would be able to do for a day's wages. Just what would they be doing to even just get fed a loaf of bread? A loaf of bread. Rosie, honey, get your nose out of there. Hello. Here we go again, Steve, honey. Steve, honey, you got... Love you, Steve. I know where you're going, but that's okay, Steve, honey. You know this world is not what it's supposed to be. This world is not in good shape. No matter how you look at it, you can see the sign writing on the wall. You can see the construction. It is just picture construction all around. Construction on this road called life. It's popping up all over the place on this road called life. Steve, honey, don't go there, Steve, honey. You just refrain from it. We're all in this together. We're all stuck here at this we're stuck here on this earth at this present moment in time. We are, and you know we are. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about. You're stuck here with this. I'm just gonna giggle. I'm just going to giggle, but it's true. There's prophecies out there. There's prophecies out there, and there are people who are hungry now. And if you think about the food chain reaction game and how the inflation literally goes through the roof, and they have all these other scenarios that they threw into it, all the other scenarios that threw into it. And how were these world leaders going to rule their kingdoms with all of this? How would they be able to maintain control and run their countries? That went until, I know it went till after 2025 and into 2026. I'm not sure if it went any further than 2026. If you all had seen the thing about the food chain reaction game, because it got really bad before things started settling down. I can't remember the exact thing, but I know it seems to have been playing out. It has. It's a sludgy mess. It is a sludgy mess. And we got to survive. I don't know if I could do a quart of wheat for a day's wages. That's only, it's like a loaf of bread. A loaf of bread. Hope you got something to put into it. I remember in Hawaii, I was watching this documentary. These people from Africa, they were told that they wanted, this guy came and got them, said, we'll put you up here. We need you to dig ditches. I don't know where they were digging their ditches. So they brought their families. They took their shovels and they dig ditches and trenches or whatever it was for this tightwad of a person. And then when it came time to pay them, he didn't pay them. And I remember the little children going around and they were gathering big, large ants. as many ants as they could find. And the mother, she had this pot and she had some water that she put in it. And somebody, I guess the reporter was saying, what's for supper? Ant soup. Ant soup. They had ant soup because they didn't even get their wages paid. They had to find what they could eat, ant soup. It was very sad what had happened. It's like the insects. Rosie, honey, go on out there. Quit running in and out like a wild woman. She needs to quit running in and out. You all know it is serious when you look down the road. When you look down the road, it is very serious. You've got to start preparing now on the inside of your being. You got to get strong. You've got to get strong on the inside of here to face what's coming and what's already here. And it's just like, it could change just like that. Just like that. And you could be caught off guard. That's why you want to be able to start preparing on the inside. Keep it in the back of your mind. Don't dwell on it. You'll get depressed. Don't dwell on it. Put it in the back of your mind, knowing that it's there. Keep observing what's happening in the world. That's what you've got to do. Keep observing. Be aware of what's going on in this world so that you can prepare. Corinthians and Thessalonians, please, in your spare time. So you see the scriptures that were, these look like fake birds, and they had an encounter. There are digital looking birds. It does look like a matrix out there at times on some of these. When you take a picture of them, they do look fake. And what if we are living in a matrix? What if we are a digital representation of a human being? What if, like someone said, our consciousness got uploaded into a computer and we're living it out over and over and over again? What if that? What if that? Your conscience got uploaded and you got this body and you're in the matrix, like that movie Tron. If anyone watched it, I didn't want to watch it because it looked too sci-fi. Living in a matrix, living on a circuit board, or you're the person, you're the people inside the video game. Like, was it Neil deGrasse, Neil somebody, that scientist guy, said you could be the person in the video game that little boy is playing. You could. You could be the people in the Minecraft. What if we are in a Minecraft situation? There's all kinds of stuff, you all. There really is. Hello, Al, honey. You don't suppose the politicians and the elites, now they probably don't taste too good. They probably don't. It's like a fee-fi-fo-fum, that giant. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be him dead or be him live, I'll grind his bones and make my bread. That sounds like giants. The giants, the giants. If you're just tuning in, you are. A quart of wheat for a day's wages. That sounds like famine. It does. Extreme famine. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. I would not be surprised, and you should not be surprised if the day does come, because it is prophesied, even though prophecy has a way of playing out, sometimes not in the exact way. But it's a biblical prophecy. It means extreme famine, extreme hard times is what it means. No, don't let it get you down. You got to be stronger than that. You got to be stronger than that, but you got to be aware. You got to prepare. You got to have a mental fortitude up here. You do. Stephen, honey, absolutely. We are living in the matrix. I was going to say more, but it will ruffle some feathers. Thank you, Steve, honey, for not saying more. You can see you are being very kind with your words. You are. Thank you. Food shortages coming. Okay, I know what I was going to say. This is what I was reading when I woke up in the middle of the night around 2 a.m. If they did not pass their thing on the 1st, that would be the partial government shutdown, just the partial. Social Security, I found out, it won't be affected. Your Social Security checks won't be affected during a partial shutdown or a full government shutdown because it comes from a different fund. It's already funded. The one thing that will be affected is the WIC, the food stamps, Medicaid, and they would have to lay off some Medicare, I don't know, the Medicare thing. These wind chimes are loud. They would have to cut back on the personnel for all of that kind of stuff. The veterans pay. Here's what the thing, if you're a veteran and you get if you get a retirement, you got a retirement pension if you're a military veteran. Normally those things are approved 1 year in advance. They didn't do it this time. They didn't. They just kept passing the continuing whatever, just extending. So when that timestamp comes around, if they had a full government shutdown, even the military itself, even though you think, well, they're not going to do it. No, if you're in the active duty, you will still have to work and not get paid. If you're a military veteran, you won't get paid either because there was no thing that was passed for a whole year. They didn't do it. They did not do it. I seen Sabrina, the deputy Pentagon, the deputy assistant Sabrina. They asked her about it, and she had a comment on it about the shutdown. We don't need to have the shutdown with the military because it's literally going to. So they got to the 1st, and then they got like 1 week later. 1 week later, it could get messy. It really could. Part of me in the back of my mind is thinking they would let it go, then let it go again, and then let it get really worse. We would have a big time mess on our hands, a massive mess on our hands. But if you have Social Security checks, you don't got to worry about it because you're going to get your Social Security checks. They'll still go out. They're automated. They're automated. But not the Medicaid, not the food stamps, not the WIC. Not the WIC. That means hungry. People are going to get hungry. If you're on that, if you're on the EBT and stuff like that. I don't know, you all. There was the wee hours of the morning with all of that going on. Yeah. Hello in Kentucky. I am going to go. I'm going to hop off of here. Might get me something to eat. I might. I'm going to get something to eat. I haven't ate too much today at all. I'm done talking. I am. My spirit's done. It's done. Just watch what they do. Watch what they do within the next couple days. See what happens. You got to keep your eyes. You got to be aware of what they're doing up there, wherever they're at. You got to be aware of what they're doing and take note, because one thing's going to lead to another, and you've got to be prepared for it. You've got to be prepared for it. So I'm going to go, and with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. And if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Thank you to everyone who has joined. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up when you, whenever you want to. Whenever you want to, it's greatly appreciated, and it does help. It does help get the message out. Jeannie, honey, you didn't really speak too much or whatever. That's okay. I have things that do flow in at times. I do, and I share it. I share it. I share a lot of different things. I do, and it's good to come together. It is. It is. Thank you, moderators. Thank you all for your comments. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Love you.